When you watch a big tennis match, you're seeing some of the fittest people on the entire planet. I mean, they're covering miles of court, hitting hundreds of explosive shots, and they can keep this up for 5 grueling hours. It looks absolutely superhuman, but there's a secret science to it, and most of it happens when the ball isn't even in play. So let's just ask the question straight up. How is that even possible? How does a human body take that kind of punishment, that level of intensity, for that long without just shutting down? Well, the answer isn't just about being in great shape. It's about a hidden strategy, and it's what really separates the very best from everyone else. Okay, get ready for a stat that's gonna blow your mind. In a 3-hour epic match, the ball is only actually in play for about 20 minutes. Yeah, that means for more than 2.5 hours, the players are just walking, toweling off, getting ready. But that's not downtime. Oh no, that's where the real battle is won and lost. So, to really get the solution, we first have to understand just how brutal the problem is. The modern game is this crazy physical challenge that pushes the body to its absolute breaking point, but it does it in this very specific start and stop kind of way. So think about this. During a tough rally, a player's heart rate can just skyrocket to over 175 beats per minute. That's pure, all-out sprinter territory. But here's the catch, right? A sprinter does that once. A tennis player has to do it again and again and again, sometimes hundreds of times in one match. So how on earth do they survive? Well, it's all about the rhythm of the game. For every single second of insane, intense work, the sprinting, the hitting, they get about 4 to 5 seconds of rest. That work-to-rest ratio is the secret sauce of tennis. Managing that little window is everything. And that brings us to the real fight. Because yeah, there is an opponent across the net. But every single player is also fighting a second, invisible opponent. Their own body, their own fatigue. And that battle is happening inside them, physiologically, point after grinding point. As a match drags on, the body's basically starting to run out of gas. Your muscle glycogen, which is your main fuel, just gets burned up. You're sweating out crucial fluids and electrolytes, and deep down at a cellular level, stress is building up, which makes your muscles weaker and even makes it harder for your brain to sense signals. So here's the absolute bottom line. Being an amazing athlete isn't enough. You have to be a brilliant energy accountant. Every player walks on court with a limited energy budget. Every huge serve, every long sprint is a withdrawal from that account. And if you spend too much, too fast, you are going to be bankrupt by the final set. And that brings us to the answer, the solution to that 5-hour mystery. The breakthrough science that lets these players perform these marathon feats is called pacing. And it's not an accident. It's a deliberate, conscious strategy that affects every single thing they do. To put it simply, pacing is the art of knowing exactly when to floor it and when to ease off the gas. And look, it's not about just playing at 70% the whole time, not at all. It's about being smart, choosing your moments to go 100%, and then finding every possible chance to save that precious energy for when you need it most. I love this analogy because it just hits the nail on the head. It's not one long race. It's 100 little races inside a giant one. You have to be a world-class sprinter for 10 seconds, then recover and then get ready to do it all over again, knowing the finish line might be hours away. Pacing is the glue that holds all those sprints together. So, okay, that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in a real match? Well, the top pros don't just do this by instinct. They use very specific, calculated strategies. And honestly, how they manage their energy budget is usually what decides who's holding the trophy at the end. And we basically see two main approaches. First, you've got the rocket start, the player who comes out swinging, trying to land a huge psychological punch and get ahead early. It's super high risk, but also high reward. Then you've got the total opposite, the conservative player, who's saving their big energy spends for the critical moments later in the match. And the thing is, this strategy is always changing. It's alive. A player might use the first set to just feel out their opponent, save some fuel. Then they ramp it up for the crucial third set. And if they lose a tough fourth set, you might see them strategically take their foot off the gas to regroup for one last all-out attack in the fifth. All right, now we get to the part that is really, really wild. We all think of fatigue as a physical thing, right? Your muscles just get tired and they give out. But some of the coolest new research shows that fatigue is actually controlled and can even be overruled by your brain. Your mind is the real boss here.
I mean, some of these studies are fascinating. They've literally lied to athletes, told them they were doing better than they actually were, or that the finish line was closer. And what happened? All of a sudden, these athletes could tap into physical reserves they had no idea they possessed. It proves our idea of how tired we are is just as real as how tired we actually are. It's like our brain has this safety switch, holding back a little power to protect us. But sometimes you can trick that switch.
So, a player's brain is constantly running this incredibly complex program. First, it's anticipating how long the match might go. Then it's monitoring all the signals from the body, breathing, soreness. Then it's regulating effort point by point. And finally, it's constantly adjusting the entire plan based on the score. It's a massive cognitive feat happening in real time.
Okay, so we've pulled back the curtain on the science. We've seen the strategies. And the best part is, knowing this will completely change how you watch tennis from now on. You can finally see the hidden game, the one being played between all the action. So the next time you're watching a match, look for it. Watch the clock. Is a player taking every single second of that 25-second rule to get their heart rate down? Has their serve speed dropped off a bit, only to come roaring back on a big point? Or do you ever see a player just sort of give up on a game when they're down? That's not them being lazy. That is pacing in action. You see, the incredible frantic action when the ball is in play, that's only half the story. The real test of endurance is this strategic chess match of energy management fought in the quiet moments between points, and all of it is directed by the brain. So now that you know the secret, the only question is, will you be able to see it?